Man, we're going to go ahead and do rides and scripts. Shalom, everybody. Let's go ahead and get these rides and scripts in. Since I'm up. Ooh-wee. What is going to be? We're going to go ahead and get it in this morning. Rides and scripts. Oh, well. Let's get it. Rise and scripts. Welcome. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Since I'm up before I lay it down, we might as well get it in. Rise and scripts. We're going to go ahead and jump in the Apocrypha. In the Apocrypha, the King James Version, we're in the book of Ecclesiasticus. But before we do that, let's get the books of the Bible right quick. Let's go ahead and get the books of the Bible. Uncover your heads. Women, cover your heads. Men, uncover your heads. Oh, man. So we can get it in. Books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, 1 Ezra, 2 Ezra, Tobit, Judith, the rest of Esther, the wisdom of Solomon, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, which we're about to get back into, Baruch, Song of the Three Holy Children, the history of Susanna, Baal and the Dragon, Prayer of Manassas, 1 Maccabees, 2 Maccabees, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Jude, and Revelations. Get down, sucker. Lay down. Put that under there now. Bam, like that. Boop. So it's not sticking up. Boop. All right. All right, let's get in it, man. Make time. Shalom, shalom. Make time. 195 custom line. Make time. You have to make time. Just like I'm making time right now. You have to make time. It's on you. So let's jump back into the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. The book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. We're in chapter 11. We're going to read from chapter 11 to chapter 16 or 17. Oh, not my book. 16 or 17. The Apocrypha, if you don't have one, this is the Apocrypha. That's what I'll be reading out of. Let's read. Yeah, man. Emmett, shalom, Emmett. I had to take my shit off so I could read, man. Take my shit off so I could read. All right, let's read. Get it out of my way. Chapter 11 of Sirach, or the book of Ecclesiasticus. I'm going to try to take it slow. Now, wisdom lieth up the head of him that is of low degree, and maketh him to sit among great men. Command not a man for his beauty, and neither abhor a man for his outward appearance. The bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things. Boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt not thyself in the day of honor, for the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works among men are hidden. Many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of hath worn the crown. Many mighty men have been greatly disgraced, and honorable delivered into other men's hands. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth, and understand first, and then rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, and neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not attain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. My bad, I said thou shalt be innocent. No, it's thou. My son, meddle not in many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind. And again, there is another that is slow, and hath need of help, wanting ability, and full of poverty. Yet the eye of the Lord looked upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate, and lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come from the Lord. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord. Love and the way of good works are from him. Error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. The gift of the Lord remaineth with the godly, and for his favor bringeth prosperity forever. There is that waxeth rich, but his weariness and pinching is the portion, and this is the portion of his reward. Whereas he saith, I have found rest, and now will eat continually of my goods. And yet he knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave those things to others and die. Be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy work. Marvel not in the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. The blessed of the Lord is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing to flourish. Say not, what profit is there of my service, and what good things shall I have hereafter? Again, say not, I have enough, and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter? In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. And the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end his deeds shall be discovered. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children. Bring not every man in thine house, for the deceitful man hath many trains. Oh, that's one for sure. Bring not every man in thine house. Like as a partridge taken and kept in a cage, so is the heart of the proud. And like as a spy, watcheth he for thy fall. For he lieth in wait, and turneth good into evil, and in things worthy praise will lay blame upon thee. Of a spark of fire, a heap of coals is kindled, and a sinful man layeth wait for blood. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot. Receive a stranger into thine house, and he will disturb thee, and turn thee out of thine own. Chapter 12. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so that thou do be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, and if not from him, yet from the Most High. Then there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, and nor to him that giveth no alms. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner. Do well with him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. For the Most High hated sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Give unto the good, and help not the sinner. A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And though he humble himself and give crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou, at the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity the charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Yeah, that's that fuck around and find out. Oh, you want to play with that snake? Yeah, I ain't gonna be mad when the snake bites you. I ain't gonna pity you. Yeah, you should have known better. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Chapter 13. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that had fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. Burden not thyself above thy power while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier and richer than thyself. For how agree the kettle and the earthen pot together? For if the one be smitten against the other, it shall be broken. The rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth threateneth withal, and the poor man is wronged, and he must be entreated also. If thou be for this profit, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee, and yea, he will make thee bear, and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, what wantest thou? And he will shame thee by his meats, until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. And afterwards, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, and shake his head at thee. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. If thou be if thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself, and so much the more will he invite thee. Press not thou upon him, lest thou be put back, and stand not far off, lest thou be forgotten. Affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words, for with much communication he will tempt thee. The smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets. Smiling in your face, backstabbers, backstab. That's where that comes. They smiling in your face. Affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words. For with much communication he will tempt thee, and smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets. But cruelly he will lay upon thy words, and will not spare to do thee hurt, and to put thee in prison. Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing when thou hearest these things, and awake in thy sleep. Love the Lord all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship has the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the ungodly. What agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? Is the wild ass, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. And as the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friend, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends. And when a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely, and could have no place. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Riches are good unto him that hath no sin. The poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. The heart of man changeth his countenance, and whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity. And the finding out of parables is a worrisome labor of the mind. Chapter 14. Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. Riches are not comely for a niggard. Riches is not comely for a niggard. And what should an envious man do with money? Niggard. Niggard. Not nigger. Oh, you don't want to say it, Google? Niggardly.
Niggardly.
Yeah, say it, Google. I want a nigger, not niggardly.
Niggard.
Yeah, there you go, Google. Stingy, an ungenerous person. A stingy and ungenerous person. A niggard. He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his goods riotously. And he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doth good, he doth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. The envious man hath an wicked eye, and he turneth away his face, and despiseth men. And a covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. A wicked eye avayeth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. He is stingy at his table. My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself, and give the Lord his due offering. Remember that death will not be long in coming, and that the covenant of the grave is not shewed unto thee. Do good unto thy friend before thou die, and according to thy ability stretch out thy hand and give to him. Defraud not thyself of the good day, and let not the part of a good desire overpass thee. Shalt thou not leave thy travails unto another, and thy labors to be divided by lot? Give and take and sanctify, thy soul. For there is no seeking of dainties in the grave. All flesh waxeth old as a garment. For the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death. As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow. So in the generation of flesh and blood, one cometh to an end, and another is born. Every work rotteth and consumeth away, and the worker thereof shall go withal. And blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding. He that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding of her secrets. Go after her as one that traceth, and lie in wait in her ways. He that prieth at her windows shall also hearken at her doors. And he that doth lodge near her house shall also fasten a pin in her walls. He shall pitch his tent nigh unto her, and shall lodge in a lodging where good things are. He shall set his children under her shelter, and shall lodge under her branches. By her he shall be covered from heat, and in her glory shall he dwell. Chapter 15. He that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that hath the knowledge of the law shall obtain her. And as a mother shall she meet him, and receive him as a wife married of a virgin. With the bread of the understanding shall she feed him, and give him the water of wisdom to drink. He shall be stayed upon her, and shall not be moved, and shall rely upon her, and shall not be confounded. She shall exalt him above his neighbors, and in the midst of the congregation shall she open his mouth. He shall find joy and a crown of gladness, and she shall cause him to inherit an everlasting name. But foolish men shall not obtain unto her, and sinners shall not see her, for she is far from pride, and men that are liars cannot remember her. Praise is not seemly in the mouth of a sinner, for it was not sent from him of the Lord. Yeah, there we go. For praise shall be uttered in wisdom, and the Lord will prosper it. Say not thou, it is through the Lord that I fell away, for thou oughtest not to do the things that he hateth. That's something that people don't understand. Don't do the shit that the Lord hates. What? You gonna do that? Oh, you crazy. The Lord made me do it. Don't say that. Don't do the shit he hates. Say not thou, he hath caused me to err, for he hath no need of a sinful man. The Lord hateth all abomination, and they that fear God love it not. Yeah, we don't like your wicked shit. You're not supposed to. He himself made man from the beginning, and left him in the hand of his counsel. If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness, he had set fire and water before thee. Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt. And before man is life and death, and whether him liketh shall be given unto him. For the wisdom of the Lord is great, and he is mighty in power, and beholdeth all things. And his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he knoweth every work of man. He had commanded no man to do wickedly, neither had he given any man license to sin. Chapter 16. Desireth not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons. Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them. Trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude. For one that is just is better than 1,000. And better it is to die without children than to have them that are ungodly. For by one that hath understanding shall the city be replenished. But the kindred of the wicked shall speedily become desolate. Many such things have I seen with my eyes, and mine ear hath heard greater things than these. And in the congregation of the ungodly shall a fire be kindled, and in a rebellious nation wrath is set on fire. He was not pacified toward the old giants, who fell away in the strength of their foolishness. Neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, but abhorred them for their pride. Hey, keep having your pride. You want to have your pride day? You're going to be like Lot, where Lot sojourned. Fire and brimstone upon Sodom and Gomorrah. He pitied not the people of perdition, who were taken away of their sins, nor the 600,000 footmen who were gathered together in the hardness of their hearts. And if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with them, and he is mighty to forgive, and to pour out displeasure. As his mercy is great, so is his correction, and also he judgeth the man according to his works. The sinner shall not escape with his spoils, and the patience of the godly shall not be frustrate. make way for every work of mercy, for every man shall find according to his works. The Lord hardened Pharaoh, and he should not know him, that his powerful works might be known to the world. His mercy is manifest to every creature, and he had separated his light from darkness with an abatement. And say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord. Shall any remember me from above? I shall not be remembered among so many people. For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures? Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens, the deep of the earth, the deep and the earth, and all that therein is, shall be moved when he shall visit. The mountains also and the foundations of the earth shall be shaken with trembling when the Lord looketh upon them. No heart can think upon these things worthily, and who is able to conceive his ways? It is a tempest which no man can see, for the most part of his works are hid. Who can declare the works of his justice, or who can endure them? For his covenant is far off, and the trial of all things is in the end. He that wanteth understanding will think upon vain things, and a foolish man erring imagineth follies. My son, hearken unto me, and learn knowledge, and mark my words with thy heart. I will shew forth doctrine and weight, and declare his knowledge exactly. The works of the Lord are done in judgment from the beginning, and from the time he made them, he disposed the parts thereof. He garnished his works forever, and in his hand are the chief of them unto all generations. They neither labor, nor are weary, nor cease from their works. And none of them hindereth anything, and none of them hindereth another, and they shall never disobey his word. After this, the Lord looked upon the earth and filled it with his blessings. And with all manner of living things, he had covered the face thereof, and they shall return into it again. Chapter 17, last chapter. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. He endued them with strength by themselves, and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th, speech, and interpreter of the cogitations thereof. Let's see what that is. Cogitations. Cogitations. Not Caucasians. Cogitations. Cogitations. That bitch said Caucasians. Caucasians again. C-O-G-I. There you go. Cogitation, excuse me. And their cogitation, which means the action of thinking deeply about something, contemplation, cogitation. An interpreter of the cogitation thereof. An interpreter of the action of thinking deeply about something, of the contemplation thereof, or of the cogitation thereof. Counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears and a heart gave he them to understand. Withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding, and shewed them good and evil. He set his eye upon their hearts, that he might shew them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever. and they that might declare his works with understanding. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. He made an everlasting covenant with them and shewed them his judgments. Their eyes saw the majesty of his glory, and their ears heard his glorious voice. And he said unto them, beware of all unrighteousness. And he gave every man commandment concerning his neighbor. Their ways are ever before him, and shall not be hid from his eyes. Every man from his youth is given to evil, and neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stoning. For in division of the nations of the whole earth he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion, whom being his firstborn he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love doth not forsake him. Therefore all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways. None of their unrighteous deeds are hid from him, but all their sins are before the Lord. But the Lord, being gracious and knowing his workmanship, neither left nor forsook them, but spared them. The alms of a man is as a signet with him, and he will speak the good deeds of man as the apple of the eye, and give repentance to his sons and daughters. Afterwards he will rise up and reward them, and render their recompense upon their heads. But unto them that repent he granted them return, and comforted those that failed in patience. Return unto the Lord, and forsake thy sins. Make thy prayer before his face, and offend less. Turn again to the Most High, and turn away from iniquity. For he will lead thee out of darkness into the light of health. And hate thou abomination. There we go. And hate thou abomination vehemently. Who shall praise the Most High in the grave, instead of them which live and give thanks? Thanksgiving perisheth from the dead, as from one that is not, and the living and sound in heart shall praise the Lord. How great is the loving kindness of the Lord our God, and his compassion unto such as turn unto him in holiness. For all things cannot be in men, because the Son of Man is not immortal. What is brighter than the sun? Yet the light thereof faileth. The flesh and blood will imagine evil. And he vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and all men are but earth and ashes. And that was Ecclesiasticus chapter 11 through 17, man. We read that thing. That was Rising Scripts. That was Rising Scripts. Since I was still up, I was like, let me go ahead and give it to you. Since I'm still up, instead of me going to sleep and waking back up and don't know when I'm gonna wake up, I might not wake up shit. I might not wake up until 10. Whatever time my sons get up, I might not wake up until then. So while I'm up, I just go ahead and rise in scripts, man. Rise in scripts. That was Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, which is found between Malachi and Matthew, between the Old Testament and the New Testament, is where you're supposed to find the Apocrypha. It's where it should be. And you will find it in the King James 1611 version. That's where the Apocrypha will be found. Or you can just go get you an Apocrypha. But I like to use my old one. I like to use mine instead of that new one. But I got that new one just in case. Just in case I happen to misplace this one, I got a backup. A backup sword. But it's still new, fresh. We're going to keep pushing through Ecclesiasticus. Sirach. I know it better by Sirach. Sirach has Sirach it's a good book, man. Sirach has a lot of good sayings. Sirach would be like I would liken Sirach to like a Wisdom of Solomon or a Song of Solomon, or maybe even a Proverbs as well. Sirach gives that, but I think even though some verses in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus are continuations of the previous verse, you have to read it slow. You have to read it slow. Some verses, it's not like reading, when you're reading Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, it's not like reading Isaiah, where it's more like a storyline. Sirach is not, or Ecclesiasticus is not a storyline. It's just, it's a grouping of sayings. So you have to kind of read it slow. You have to kind of read it slow. And I might have been reading it too fast. But you have to kind of read it slow, verse by verse. You have to read it verse by verse. It's better. It's better if you read it verse by verse. So that way you can gain a better understanding of what's being said. Because that's some good shit, man. Sirach has some good things, man. Like the verse about sit not with another man's wife, and sit not with his wife at the wine. It's a lot of good things. It should be common sense stuff, but it's a lot of definitely good things to take heed of. Like this one. This is Sirach 22 and 13. Talk not with a fool, and go not with him that hath no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. Sirach has some good shit. Look at this one, 20 and 8. He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. This is 20 and 24. A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught. 25. A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie, but they both shall have destruction to heritage. People that say, one sin not better than the other. Oh, yeah. It's still all sin. Don't get me wrong. It's still all sin. But it's looked at different. There's some sins that's looked at differently. You best believe it. There's some sins that's looked at differently. Oh, wait. But, hey, that has been Rise in Scripts, man. Thank you, everybody that stopped by to, take a gander, lend me a ear to Rise in Scripts, man. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapters 11 through 17, man. Shalom, everybody, man. I hope y'all have a wonderful one. Catch me on the next go round, man. Catch me on the next go round. I'm out here. Shalom out.